My name is Nitin Vats. We are continuing from the point we left in the previous video. So people who have not gone through my previous video would request them to have a view of it first before going through this, as it's in the continuation and some people may not be able to understand. So as in last video we were talking about to use relative reference, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you can write code in Excel. So what I was trying to say in this video, or in the previous video, we were talking about the person who is an investor and lives in Melbourne, Australia, and he has chain of restaurants in different suburbs, and these are the earnings for different months. So now this person wants to keep track of how much he is earning per month, and he would like to generate some reports later on and would like to do a comparison even how much he earned last year versus what he is earning this year in the year 2015. So now what I was saying in my last video, what if instead of going individually and running the macro 3 times, can we write a code which is also a macro, literally, can we write a code in Excel which is going to calculate the sum of all these three for all these 3 months and print it in one go, as well whatever earnings this person or this investor would have made till date should be displayed here. Let's say total earnings till date. So if I talk about here, I make it bold to look more familiar or to represent it as if it's a static field. And let me just, sorry, I'm using too many colors, so many people generally don't use colors, so just to differentiate or just to make it more lively, I'm trying to make more and more colors in that. So where I'm coming from, I'm going to write a code which is going to calculate, or which is going to sum all these 3 totals and going to print accordingly for individual months. And I'm also going to write a code which is going to display here the total earnings till date. And what I'm also going to do, that's more interesting. I think most of the people would be looking forward for that. Generally, people would not like the others to see their code because that's their own work, might be, or there can be some information security reasons. So for that, what we can do, we can go to the Insert tab. Let's assume I'm going to take a shape from here. Sorry, I think this is the wrong one which I clicked. Let's say I'm going to take shape from here. Let me take this box, the rectangular box. So it has a color. I'm going to also type here, let's say calculate gross. So don't right now worry about why I have kept this button, so I will come back to this later on. So we will talk about it. So right now park this item for time being. So coming back here again, I'm going to write a code which is going to calculate the sum for the January, February, March, going to print it here, and also going to print the total of this cell, this cell, this cell, which is the earning of January plus the earning of February plus the earning of March over here. And to add on to this, we can also display a message box saying your total earnings till date are these many dollars. Alright, now, so without any further ado, I'm going to take you straight to how you can write the code. So there are 2 options. One thing is either you click on Visual Basic here, you can straight away go to the section where you can write the code, and by default it came up with this workbook. So whatever code you are going to write here would be valid for the whole workbook. So one option was, we went to the developer tab, we clicked on Visual Basic, and it took us here, and the other shortcut is Alt 11. And right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to press it from my keyboard. So I've hit the Alt key, I'm clicking now F11, so which took me here. So now I'm going to click on this workbook. I'm going to write a piece of code here which you guys can follow while writing your own programming thing. So let's say in this thing I'm going to write a module, or rather not module, I'm going to write in this workbook, let's say sub calculate earnings. So as you can see, I just hit enter after clicking sub, and it's straight away take the end statement, which is end sub. So here I'm going to declare a variable. So variable declaration we generally do using dim statement, so you can input any type of value in there, whether it's integer or character or any other thing as well. So I'm taking dim b, let's say, and what I'm going to do, so this cell is B6. So in B6 what I need to do, I need to calculate the earnings for all the three suburbs, so which starts from B3 to B5. So the sum should be B3 plus B4 plus B5. So how we are going to do that, we are going to write here, just follow what I'm doing, so don't get confused. So it's pretty simple. What I'm going to do, and to identify a cell, generally we are using the range feature. So range, so my cell was B, and so B was my row, and then it was at position 6, so that is my number. So column B and 6th is my row where I need to print the value. So here I'm going to write B6. So in this cell B6, I want to get the total of the above three cells, which is B3, B4 and B5. So what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to make it pretty simple. So in B6 what we need to do, we need to say range and B3 plus range B4 plus range B5. That's it, pretty simple. So I'm just going to copy this to save my effort. So after copying, I'm going to paste it here. I'm pasting it just to save my effort. I'm going to give this a logical name saying dim gross, and this one was for January. I can say it earnings for January. So I'm commenting out, so if whatever is coming in green is a part of comment, so this line is not going to get executed. February, similarly earnings for March. So one was E and H. Cool. So one is E, the other one, now I'm just going to change the range here, E, and again we go. So this is E, sorry, it's in capital. So the other one was H, and H here. And once we are done here, we would like to save the sum of the January, February and March in the variable gross. So what we are going to do, we are going to type here gross. We are going to store the sum, which is range B6, sorry, which is range B6 plus range E6 plus range H6. So we are going to put it in a message box, which is going to be displayed to the user once at the end of this macro or the last line of this code. So message box gross earnings till date are gross. Cool. And if you remember, we are also going to put the values in this cell. Sorry, I just need to delete them. So after deleting it, so total earnings till date, we are going to print in E9. So range, in range E9 we need to put the value of the variable gross. So we are going to do this, and let me minimize the screen. Now you must be wondering like what this button is doing here. So once we have created this button, I'm going to assign the code which I have written as part of that macro or as part of the VBA or VBA. So I will right click on it, I will click on assign macro, and as you can see this workbook has the macro calculate earning or the VBA calculate earning. So I'm going to click on this, which the code which you have written in VB script. I'm going to click on OK. Now if you see, it's going to fill these three cells, also going to fill this one, and also going to display us with a message box. So let's just give it a try. Click on calculate gross. As you can see now, we have the total or the gross earnings till date, which are 27614. So click on OK, and using the control key, I'm just clicking on here to 27614. Cool. So this finishes the basic understanding of how you can write macro, how you can record macro, how you can write code which was written in VB script without recording or clicking on record button or using the relative reference. So hopefully you find this session informative, and I'm pretty sure you're going to use this in your project. So all the best, and stay tuned. I'm going to post more videos, and there are a lot more to come up. Thank you very much for watching my both videos, and please subscribe me, and we can interact over YouTube as well. Thank you very much.